carefully to try to relieve you of your shame. Don't worry, man. The Saints gonna take care of business, but we're gonna be right here to stay by your side. Get to the postseason. Psych!
When you need me, oh, when you need me, when you need me, I'll be there. When you need me, oh, when you need me, when you need me, oh, when you need me, oh, when you need me, I'll be there. When you need me, oh, when you need me.
Before you go to sleep, don't forget to say a prayer. Say a prayer in love that the Bucks suffer a defeat. 'Cause wins were hard to find, and Jade and Daniels were dropping dimes. Only God knows how much we really need you.
Atlanta singing.
We can't make the playoffs without you, never.
When you need me,
That's how we'll be right by your side. Right by your side. That's
when you need me,
That's how we'll be there. Not really.
before you can call
Oh, yeah.
when you need me,
We are gonna finish your fight. When you need me, that's how we'll be there. Sorry?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And this show is brought to you and powered by BETUS. You can sign up today, get up to 150% on your first deposit, and up to 125% on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I am decked out in red and black, showing support to them birds, because we know that the Atlanta Falcons, they need our help. They need as much help as they could possibly get, because it's been a long time, since they made the postseason, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time since them boys stepped foot on postseason soil. Now, the Saints, they ain't got nothing to write home about. It's been about 4 seasons, going to be the 5 seasons before they actually see the playoffs. But at the end of the day, the Atlanta Falcons, they still have a fighter's chance. All they have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is beat the Carolina Panthers, and they need our help. They need our help, Who That Nation. They need the New Orleans Saints to go into Raymond James Stadium and knock off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I tell you, who that nation, don't worry, Atlanta. We going to do what we need to do, all right? We going to do what is necessary for the New Orleans Saints. You can trust and believe that. And, you know, it's funny. As I was watching the Commanders against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday night, and I seen that coin toss, Grady Jarrett called heads, and I seen that it was tails, and I knew Jaden Daniels was going to get the ball. I knew for a fact that the game was indeed over. I knew for a fact that the Falcons won't possess the ball ever again, and I knew that their postseason dreams more than likely were going to be up in smoke. And I got to tell you, it couldn't happen to a better fan base. And let me tell you why. This isn't what the show is about, but of course, I got to let it be said. The Atlanta Falcon fans are some of the fakest fans on the face of God's green earth. I'm going to say that again. They are some of the fakest fans on the face of God's green earth. And that's the reason why I have absolutely no sympathy for them. They have no loyalty. They have conditional love for their team. They got conditional support for their team. And they're grandstanders and hot doggers. I've been telling people this all season long. When they feel like they have a competitive advantage, when they signed Justin Simmons, when they made a trade for Matthew Judon, they were all up in the chat of NFC South rival teams talking about what they was going to do. They was out here, you know, sending what FanDuel and DraftKings had them at and all these type of things. They had Kirk Cousins and they was talking about all the money that they had, this, that, and the third. And they were grandstanding because they felt like they had something that other teams in the South didn't have. But as time went on, you know, they started the season off rough. In October, they got red hot. They wanted Kirk Cousins to be in the MVP conversation. They were talking about how great Kirk Cousins was. And then they go on a 4-game losing streak. 4 games. And they're nowhere to be found. They want to bench Kirk Cousins. They talking about it's a waste of money. At the beginning of the season, when Raheem Morris was hired, the narrative was, well, he should have been a coach in the first place before Arthur Smith was the coach. Oh, he should have been the coach the whole entire time. We got Arthur Smith. We got Raheem Morris. We got Raheem Morris. That's all you heard. Now, all of a sudden, now they want to fire him. They want to bench Kirk Cousins when he was the toast of the town in October for Michael Penix. Now, even though Michael Penix does look the part, I'm not going to take that away, but it just shows you the up and down, the frost and flaky fans that they have. And for that, it couldn't have happened to a better fan base because they showed their true colors in the midst of hardships, ups and downs. They're not mad that they're making the playoffs. They ain't mad about that. They ain't mad about that. They probably mad. I give that maybe like 10% of their anger. They're angry because they jumped out of the window at the beginning of the season because they wanted to grandstand and hot dog and they look ridiculous doing so. That's the reason why they really mad. They're not mad at Raheem Morris. They don't think that he's just the worst coach in the world. They're mad that they started the season off talking about what you're going to do like they Hulk Hogan or something. And now the season didn't pan out the way that they wanted to. But all I got to say is stand on business. Shouts out to all that real Atlanta Falcon fans out there that have been talking noise since day one. No matter what was going on in the season, they stood on business. But the rest of y'all, I have absolutely no respect for. And it couldn't have happened to a better fan base. Couldn't have happened to a better fan base. So that's the reason why when Tampa went and they lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and you had some of them same Falcon fans when they was in first place for about a week, wanted to go back and start talking to me, I muted them. That's the reason why. Because I knew that it was about as fake as a $3 bill. But congratulations, Atlanta. You made it to the end. You got a punch of chance, and you got to hope that the New Orleans Saints, a team and an organization that despise your guts, actually win a game for you. It ain't happening. And not because, the New Orleans Saints would be that petty. I don't think they would be that petty. I just don't think they're good enough. They're not good enough to beat Tampa. They're very disinterested. And you have to believe that a lot of those guys have that Cancun on 3 mind frame. And when I say Cancun mind frame, when I say loser mind frame, I'll add that too. Look no further than a press conference that the media had with tight end Juwan Johnson. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play a little bit of snippet of this. His press conference maybe was about 10 minutes. All right, so I encourage you to go check it out in its entirety. But this is the reason why Who Dat Nation, the New Orleans Saints, are in the position that they're in right now, because of individuals saying stuff and having a mind frame like this.
I feel like I spoke to someone like last week. It's just life. And I feel like if you just only look at the negative, I mean, you're just going to have a negative perspective on it. But if you look at the good things about it, you honestly would have a better perspective on it. I mean, just taking the quarterback situation. Like, yeah, Derek went down, and obviously that sucks. But you get to see from a different point of view how he's been a different side of a leader. Like, yeah, he isn't a leader like in between the lines, but he's a leader outside of the lines. So you see him on the sidelines. Like, he doesn't have to go to away games, but he does. So seeing a guy like that who has no business, who doesn't have to go, and he's there coaching guys, talking to guys, building a relationship with guys, and you see a guy like Spencer, he's out there, he's playing. Like, who knew we would see much of Spencer if Derek was playing? So you get to see guys like that. I mean, yeah, things happen during the season. People may see it as dark, but if you see light in the situation, like, you just have a different perspective on everything. And so, yeah, I mean, we could soak, but at the end of the day, it's all about perspective. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't even know how to pronounce what you just said. Tumultuous? Yeah, we could look at the season like that, but the season has been really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know it can seem like, like he's just trying to be optimistic, but when you go through things like this, it kind of builds a lot of character, builds a lot of faith, and I wouldn't rather go with war with anybody else with them. I just love playing with them. I love being in the locker room with them. I love being on the field with them. You just never see guys who are just go through so many things and have so much fun. Like, I had the most fun in the past 7 weeks that I've had in a long time. So it's been really fun.
Oh, my bad. I had popcorn because I thought that I was at a show, because I don't want to believe, I don't want to believe that a professional athlete is sitting up here with a record of 5-11 and talking about he had the most fun that he had in years. I don't want to believe that a guy who hasn't made the playoffs, has he ever been to the playoffs? Maybe 1 year out of his entire career, is sitting up here talking about having fun. Who Dat Nation? I told y'all once, I'm going to tell you again. I'm out on dude. Man. This is the type of mind frame that has got the New Orleans Saints an absolute laughingstock in the National Football League. Soft, cottonelle tissue type individuals who basically they cool. I've been telling y'all this. I said this on Bleacher Report. I'll say it for the people that didn't check it out. The New Orleans Saints have a bunch of guys that are happy to be there versus people that feel like they deserve to be there. I'm going to say that again. They have a roster full of guys that are happy to be there versus saying and believing that they deserve to be there. If you're a dog like Malik Neighbors out there for the Giants, losing ticks you off. He don't care about him having 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. He don't care about that stuff. This man want to win. This man sitting up in the locker room chewing gum, Mickey Loomis style, ticked off because somebody ain't throwing him the football because he a dog. This man wants to win. He gonna make his money. He gonna be fly, flashy, and cool. He gonna pull off in a phantom when the game is all said and done. But dude wants to win. And he knows that he deserves to be in the moment. That's what you want on your team. Not these golden ticket on my way to Hollywood because I hit the vocals and Simon Cowell and Randy Jackson like me. Miss me with that nonsense, man. I'm out on dude. And this is the reason why I've been out on dude. Because this is one of those individuals that just happy to get a check. Money gonna stay the same every Tuesday. Don't mean anything. The Saints have given this dude several opportunities to hit it out of the park. They have done everything in their power to try to make sure that he was the number one tight end on the team. And yet he sits up here and says that he's him and drop crucial passes and miss crucial blocks and do all these other different things that set the team back. And then when people criticize him and says things about him, then he up here talking about, oh, you know, people can always look at the negative. Where's the positive? Where's the positive in 2024? Your coach got fired. Your starting quarterback is out. Your starting wide receiver is out. Your second starting wide receiver is out. Your starting cornerback is out. Several offensive linemen are out. And you're sitting up here talking about having fun. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we shouldn't be sitting up here after the season is all said and done, stressing yourself out about this football team. Because when you have individuals like this that have shown you in press conferences and even on the field that they don't give a damn. Don't matter if you drop a pass or not. Don't matter about any of that stuff. All that matters is he has fun and the check comes in. And this is the reason why the Saints need a completely different facelift next season. Get these dudes up out of here. These happy to be here, I get a check type guys, no dog in them. I mean, I was really honestly considering cutting out the opening with Jamal Williams saying, don't get it twisted, it's all dog around here, because they ain't got no dog around there at all. No dogs. All puppies, and guys just happy to be there. Soft as hell. This is why I'm saying they need a culture change. These guys like that, yeah, let him go ahead, and he's gonna go on to another team, and people are gonna give him another opportunity because look at his upside. But with that type of mind frame, you'll never be the top of the league. You'll never be where you need to be because you're just okay with just being there. The Saints need some dogs. They need a dog as a head coach. They need a dog as a quarterback. They need a dog as some wide receivers. They need dogs on the offensive line, and they need some dogs on defense. But as long as you have this mind frame, this mentality, you ain't winning jack. And like I said, at the end of the season, when they get slapped around by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the season is over, don't even stress yourself. Because this dude basically just told you and showed you exactly what we've known all along. That this team doesn't really care. You probably got some guys on there that probably believe and still got some fight. But for the most part, no, they don't. If they did, then Foster Monroe wouldn't be sitting up here with so much energy and fire and passion talking about guys not caring. So I don't feel bad about what I'm saying. When I'm hearing guys like Foster Monroe who actually give a damn, saying that you got guys that don't. So get Juwan Johnson off this team. Let him go somewhere else and have fun. I don't know, wherever he wants to go. God bless him. And let's get somebody else up in here with a mind frame and a tight end ability that may have the abilities of a Juwan Johnson, but the mental of a Brock Bowers. That is what I want. Enough said. Let's go ahead and look at some of these comments, man. Let's go ahead and look at some of these comments. Thank y'all for being here, by the way. Look in the mirror, Juwan Jones. Man, don't even get that, man. Look, don't even mistake his last name with mine. His name is Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson. Wet cottonelle soft. Yep. Don't care. Like I said, don't care, man. Don't care at all. And look, football is a hard sport. Only a few people in this entire world get an opportunity to play in the NFL. So I can understand, like, man, okay, I'm collecting the check here, but damn, I need you to care about the state of your team. It don't seem like he does. I mean, what we at, summer camp? We having fun? Where we at, Blue Bayou? Where we at, Six Flags over Atlanta? Where are we at? Talking about having some fun, man, bro. Juwan Johnson more concerned about his Instagram, TikTok account than perfecting his craft. Maybe. Look, I don't want to get into all that kind of stuff, man. As a person, what he's saying has validity. What he said makes sense. But I don't need no TED talk. Just like, with all due respect to Demario Davis. No, look, I mean, I love the Lord. He heard my cry and pitied my every groan as well. But dude, I ain't trying to hear that right now. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Talking about guys not quitting and we ain't got no defeat in us. Man, you ain't got, bruh, look at the tape. 10 points in 2 games. You let the 28th ranked offense in the entire NFL when it comes to rushing run all over you, Amir Abdullah. If this was Nebraska, then I wouldn't say nothing. But this dude has never had a 100-yard rushing game in his entire career prior to playing the New Orleans Saints. And you let that man look like he was the second coming of Adrian Peterson. This pathetic, man. Like all these TED Talks and, like, man, sticks and stones may break my bone type speeches. That ain't cutting it, man. And I get it, man. You got to say the right things and all that kind of stuff for the media. But, bruh, we know what's up. I don't want to hear that, man. I really don't. And that type of stuff right here just tells me, man, like, you got the right guys in the locker room when it comes to leadership, but there's a switch that you need to have. Like Ray Lewis was a really good leader, but he had a switch. I mean, Michael Strahan was a really good leader, but he had a switch. I mean, you look at Michael Strahan, all the things that he's doing on Fox and Good Morning America, knocking it out of the park. But he had a switch and made him one of the most dominant defensive ends of his era. You got to have it. And when you just a nice guy in the locker room, play nice on the field, like, come on, man. You ain't winning nothing with that. TJ, BETUS dragging their leg on these payouts, man. Happy New Year, bro. I don't know why. How you don't get your instant payouts? I mean, I don't know. That's actually a first for me. That's actually a first for me. I don't know if you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. But nah, man, look. All I say is, man, like, man, it's been a really great partnership with BETUS. I ain't got no problem with it. They good to your boy, okay? They good to your boy. I'm appreciative of what they have done. He dropped too many balls for me. Pause. Why can't draft a dog tight end? Why? Well, they were close on him. They were close. They were going to draft Brock Bowers. But, of course, the Raiders got him before the Saints did. The Saints were going to draft Brock Bowers. But, the Raiders didn't, and the Saints got Tallahassee Fuaga. So, I mean, both teams win, in my opinion. Tallahassee, to me, is going to be a cornerstone left tackle. Yeah, he has some growing pains. I mean, but based on, like, where he is right now as a rookie, like, you only can imagine, like, what he's going to be like year 3, year 4. He's going to be, like, one of the best left tackles in football if he stays healthy. The nonsense. Thank you very much for the $2. Say, why TJ always asking me to miss him? What I do? Cause, man, we ain't got no time for the nonsense. We ain't got no time for that, man. Foster Moreau should be a tight end number 1. He wants to win. Well, look, I don't think on anybody's team, Foster Moreau is going to be the number 1 go-to tight end. Like, he is a guy that, is almost like a red zone threat, and he's not going to be that guy that teams are going to game plan for. But he's out there showing max effort, and for that, I have nothing but respect for him. And I just think that the New Orleans Saints, they just need another pass catching tight end. They need somebody like that. Who that 2025? Here we come, ready or not? Yeah, man, we on our way. I see kittens, not even puppies, man. I don't even want to disrespect the kittens right now. I mean, them some hamsters on the field. Not everybody, but you got a vast majority of them are. Spencer Rattler is young, but he got to improve on safety, sitting on hot routes. Hope he improves. Love Rattler. Yeah, I think he will improve, man. But I think they just need some more help around him. And, I feel so bad for him because, I was watching the Sunday night football game, Commanders and Falcons. And, there was a couple plays where I was watching the offensive line of the Commanders. And you can see like the left guard and the center like working together like with Jaden Daniels to call out the protections and the blitz pickup. Like when you have guys like that, right? You know what I'm saying? They know where it's coming from. They telling you, they communicating like back and forth. Like I don't see it. Like, have y'all seen it? I ain't seen it. Like, I mean, like outside of maybe Eric McCoy when he played a few snaps before he got injured, you don't really see the offensive line like communicating and talking with him or nothing like that. Yeah, I know y'all remember this, right? It was Teron Armstead. And I want to say Taysom Hill was quarterback at the time. And I think it was around the COVID year. I think it was. And Teron Armstead just yelled out. He was like, he ain't coming, Taysom. He ain't coming. Don't worry about it. He ain't coming. He ain't. Like it was a linebacker like showing like he was going to come on a blitz. But he told Taysom, like, nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Taysom. He ain't coming. Like, that's the kind of communication you have. You got to be able to help out your young guy, man. He's not going to be able to see everything. And then on top of that, like I said, you got last chance you out there wide receivers. Mason Tipton and Kevin Austin and Dante Pettis. Like, what you winning with that? Like, you lucky you win a flag football game with those cats out there with some regular Joe Blows. That's just the reality, man. Like, these dudes ain't ready for prime time. Like, this is a lineup that you'll see in the XFL or the USFL or something like that, the Memphis Showboats or something. Like, you ain't about like that's not a formidable wide receiver group. You need somebody that's going to be able to help them out. You need an offensive line that's going to be able to help them out. And, man, I'm not ready to give up on dude. I just think that we give up on guys quickly. Now, I want people to understand this because people will say, man, you were talking about the Saints, getting another quarterback. Yes, I do, because competition is needed. You can't just go into the season in 2025 and say, okay, man, you had some ups and downs, but we still going to make you the starting quarterback. No, we know that Jake Hayner ain't it. Okay, Jake Hayner going to have to go somewhere like the CFL or the USFL in order for him, to go out here, get some reps, because it seemed like to me, like he's a guy that knows the test, but when it's test day, he shook. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He a shook one, like that's the way I look at it, but Spencer Rattler, you have something. He has some good qualities. We see it. The problem is, you got to be able to make some of those adjustments. But the good thing about it is he has a large enough sample size that he can go back and he can watch this tape and he can see the things that he needs to work on. And hopefully the New Orleans Saints can accompany him with some really quality receivers in 2025, because I feel bad for the dude. I really do, man. And I think that when he makes a mistake, he panics. He panics when he makes mistakes. And I think that's his big issue. He's like that guy. I mentioned this, right? It's like if you're trying to fix a pipe or something like that, right? And you're like, man, I got it under control. I got it. You take the wrench and let's just say, you're tugging on you're tugging on the pipe, too hard, pause. And then all of a sudden, like it just cracks. And then, like all of a sudden water is everywhere. You're like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for a bucket, man. You're looking for anything. You're looking for a towel in order to soak up the water, but it's too late. You know what I'm saying? The damage has already been done. Now you know what I'm saying? Like now you're making it worse. And I feel like that's what happens with him. I feel like he makes a mistake. Let's just say he underthrows somebody or he puts the ball up too high, like, I dug it. I was, and he starts to like panic. And then he tries to make up for the mistake that he makes, and he makes an even bigger mistake. I think that he needs to settle down. I think he needs to be calm. I think he needs to understand that, man, mistakes are going to happen. And, I think that you have the pressures of, man, these dudes know what's going on. He knows how Saints fans feel about him. He knows. So, he wants to live up to those expectations. But look, I just think that he just panics, He just panics when mistakes are made, but you're going to make mistakes. I already read that one. I be ripping them. It says, I know if they'll show fight, but they'll show some fart. And T. Riley, thank you very much for the $10. Says Happy New Year, TJ from Japan. Man, thank you so much, man. Happy New Year to you too, and thank you so much for your support throughout the years, man, and throughout the year, and and everybody here, man. Make sure you have a Happy New Year and be safe out there if you going out to party. Tempted says, "Hi Tim, I'm so ready for them to lose the last game so the Falcons won't win." Yeah, I feel the same way, man. Look, I want to see, man. I want to see these boys go for it on 4th and 30. Like I'm talking about it. It's Saints territory. That's what I want, man. I want I want a 70-yard field goal. I want 15-yard punch. That's what I want. Like I want them. Look, I want it to be hilariously bad. That's what I want. But when I think about it, the Falcons, they'll probably be like Killmonger. Like you ever see, on Black Panther when Killmonger was about to, get killed, he was like, bury me in the oceans with my ancestors, right? He just basically went ahead and died on the sword. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Be like, man, we know the things ain't gonna look out for us. We ain't even give them the satisfaction and lose to the Panthers. Just to say, man, well, we didn't get the job done. It wasn't the Saints. I guarantee you, because they know the Saints ain't trying to help them out. I mean, I'm just being honest. They not. Gotta hear that song again. Draft quarterback Bryson Daly to replace Taysom Hill. Yeah, I mean, look, he's a talented guy. The quarterback out of Army. He's a talented dude, man. Nick Underhill was saying Rattler throws hospital balls and he's not seeing the blitz well. My main concern is the accuracy. The other stuff can be cleaned up. Well, look, the accuracy is always going to be an issue, Kendall. I mean, that's just the reality. Like, I rarely ever see guys who come into the league that have had struggles with accuracy end up, becoming the epitome of efficiency. The only person I can really think of is Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen had issues with accuracy and he got better over time. But and also, man, he throws dangerous passes too. I mean, that pass he threw to Valdez-Scantling, like, yeah, I mean, I can understand why Scantling, like when Scantling was like nodding his head, like he was frustrated. Like, I can understand why. If you have a play receiver, like, you already know, like there's a trust between a quarterback and a wide receiver. There's times where you feel like you open as a receiver, you put your hands up, and then all of a sudden, like, the ball comes down, you have to get down low. Like, dude, man, I could have got yours after the catch. You be like, nah, man, if you don't realize, man, that safety was coming, underneath would have took your head off. So I had to put it down low, because he was coming head hunt. Like stuff like that. And be like, okay, man, appreciate that or something, right? Now you got to be able to look out for your guy, man. You can't just be sitting up there trying to make a play. But like I said, the expectations to me are weighing on Spencer Rattler. He got to chill. He got to chill, man. Like I say, man, it's like somebody driving a car down a highway, 10-2, everything's smooth, right? Then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, like maybe, you lose control of the car for some apparent reason. Maybe you don't went across an ice patch. And now all of a sudden, like, man, you driving, kind of wild, trying to get yourself back on the road. And that's why I feel like he does. Like, in the first half, he was cool. Seemed like, he was calm under pressure. He was making the plays. He was dissecting. He was doing a really good job. And then all of a sudden, like they start revving up, the pressure start coming at him. And it just seemed like to me, like he was just trying to alleviate, you know what I'm saying? Like I guess the pressure, you know what I'm saying? From the wound, and you're making it worse. And I just think that he just needs to chill. I'm not going to compare him to Jaden Daniels because I feel like that's unfair, but there was a time where Jaden Daniels had a 3-and-out. Allowed the Falcons to get the ball back where they missed that field goal, which was hilarious, by the way. But, like it wasn't his fault. Like the ball went right through Zacchaeus' hands, right? But, he wasn't tripping about that. When that guy missed the field goal, he had so much confidence that he was going to go back out there and right the wrongs of that last drive. And that's what I feel like Spencer Rattler needs to do. Like, you got to chill, man. I understand that you probably feel that pressure. You want to perform. You want to win a football game. You don't want to be looked at as a mistake. These opportunities don't come around all the time. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like people are evaluating you like you would evaluate a rookie with all hands on deck. Like, people are just trying to see, to me, I don't want to speak for everybody else. I'm just looking at, is he a better quarterback this week than he was last week? And the most optimistic thing that I can say is he's better every single week. It seems like he gets better every single week. So I want to see him with a better offensive line, a running game, and some quality wide receivers. And let's see what he is. And if he isn't the part, then, hey, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. To me, this isn't like killing my confidence in Spencer Rattler. This isn't like destroying my belief in the dude to be a starting quarterback in the league. Maybe to some people, because, all they pay attention to first down, second down, third down, they ain't looking at the circumstances, which leads me to my next point, which we'll get into in just a few minutes, about the Saints and a head coaching search, because I feel like that needs to be discussed. But I do want to acknowledge the fine folks at BETUS once again. They are the sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. You can sign up, get up to 150% on your first deposit, up to 125% on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. And also, man, shouts out to Nick Underhill and Mike Triplett, Brandon over there, man. They do a really good job at New Orleans football. They're telling it like it is, man. I was cleaning up the crib today, and I was taking a listen to a little bit of what they were talking about, and they made some sense, man. I believe you can evaluate Rattler from a certain perspective, but I also feel like you shouldn't just completely just throw the guy away. And I feel like if you're throwing a guy away, it's because you had these high expectations for him. You looked at the narrative of what he was at Oklahoma and all the things that happened, and you expected him to be something that he isn't right now. But to me and to you, I encourage you to do this. Take a look at some of these players that have left the New Orleans Saints and have lived up to their potential. Look at Zach Barn right now. Look at Caden Ellis right now. Look at these guys who were just rotational role-playing guys, and now they're on teams as starters, and they're taking advantage of those opportunities. I think sometimes it's a matter of where you are and who you're being coached by. Look at Sam Darnold out there in Minnesota. Sam Darnold was a disaster for the Jets, a disaster for the Panthers, a backup for the 49ers, and now he goes with Kevin O'Connell, and now he's looking like one of the best quarterbacks in football. Where you go and who is coaching you matters. And I say this, and I mean no disrespect to none of the coaching staff. I really don't, but I don't think that they have quality teachers on this roster. On the coaching staff. I don't. I think you have a bunch of coaches that are good at what they do, and they will be able to get the best out of guys that are already proven, that are easy studies. You got to be able to develop talent. You got to get coaches that can develop talent. And this is why I'm telling everybody, I'm telling you, all these people out here that want the fly, flashy coach and all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, number one, the Saints and where they are right now, they can't afford it. And not the fact that they can't afford a coach. I mean, the salary is different from, the players to the coach. What I'm saying is you're not going to give them the opportunity to do that. I'm talking about you, the impatient Saints fan. Some of you, if let's just say, for example, if the Saints get Ben Johnson, right? And let's just say Ben comes to the New Orleans Saints and we have these high expectations because all these crazy, exotic offensive plays that he's calling for the Detroit. And let's just say, for example, the Saints start losing. Man, I thought Ben Johnson was the guy. Man, everybody wanted Ben Johnson. I guess he a really good coordinator and not a really good head coach. Not looking at the circumstances. Not looking at the fact that the Saints have salary cap issues. Not looking at the fact that they can't afford to get a highly touted free agent to be able to resolve some of the issues that plaguing the football team. Instead, you just looking at, oh, man, they said he was supposed to be good, so our team's supposed to be good. So I don't want that for Ben Johnson. I don't want that for Aaron Glenn. I don't want that for any of these new, young, up-and-coming coaches because I don't want their reputation to be destroyed because people don't have an understanding about what the heck is going on, and we need to be pointing our fingers at the real culprit of the disaster of the New Orleans Saints for years to come, and that is Mickey Loomis and the rest of the front office brigade. Jeff Ireland, whiffing on all these draft picks, getting guys that are just proud members of the Boy Scouts of America. No real dog in them. Just because, you rescued a cat that was stuck in a tree and they shook the hands of everybody in their neighborhood. Giving out lemonade to the people that's hot on a 100-degree day. That's all great, but are you a dog on that football field? That's who we need to be paying attention to. So for that is why I'm lobbying and advocating for coaches that have already been proven. If Mike McCarthy gets fired from the Dallas Cowboys, interview him. But the one person that I'm telling you, and I've been saying this for I don't know how long, the one person that I feel like, and based on Loomis's personality, I feel like John Gruden is probably going to end up being the Saints head coach. I really do. I think that he is probably, if the Saints got 3 guys that they're looking at, he's probably number 1. This man has been around, think about this. This man has been around the football team, lurking around the football team for the last couple of years. And I've said this. If you look at the New Orleans Saints, think about this. When Sean Payton was the head coach and Rob Ryan was the defensive coordinator, and Rob Ryan was around this thing, making mistakes, being unorganized as the defensive coordinator, what did Sean Payton do? When Dennis Allen, got fired from the Raiders, what did he do? He hired him as a consultant, right? Like somebody that's in the room with Rob Ryan, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let's bounce some ideas off. When Sean Payton got tired of the antics of Rob Ryan, guess what? Who was the defensive coordinator? Dennis Allen. So move right into that spot. Same thing, in my opinion. John Gruden has always been around the New Orleans Saints in some capacity. Oh, we getting John Gruden up in here to look at tape. We getting John Gruden to sit up in here and, and look at plays and help us to understand Derek Carr better. They did that to keep this man around the team. I want to say Ross Jackson even said on Twitter or on X that he could have got the opportunity to be the offensive coordinator, but he didn't want it. And I can understand that because he was doing a really good job for the Raiders before the whole email scandal. And I can understand how that can make some people feel. I understand it. I do. But based on this team, based on what they need, based on the fact that you need to be formidable while you're dealing with the salary cap issues, there's only a few guys that you can know for a fact that is going to be able to put a competitive product on the field despite being in a cap issue. And he's one of them. So sometimes it's not about, like who would look the sexiest. It's about who can give you the results that you need at this particular point. So it would not surprise me at all. Like, it would not surprise me whatsoever if John Gruden is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints in 2025. Happy New Year, TJ. The stinking Browns got 2 picks in the draft. The picking Ward quarterback. What is your opinion on him? Well, I think that Cam Ward is a competitor. I think that, he's a guy that's going to be able to compete. I think that, he's a guy that he's an underachiever. Well, excuse me, he's an overachiever. He's a guy that wasn't, ranked very high coming out of high school. Had to do it the hard way, man. And I think that the Browns, if they draft him, I think that, he'll probably do a really good job. I think that he really would. I think that he's a competitor. I think that he's made of the right stuff. I'm not looking at the fact of him sitting out in the second half. I'm not paying no attention to that because I don't think teams pay that much attention to it. I think that he could be a quality quarterback in the league. And I think that he's a guy that can spin it. He can put up some touchdowns, and I think that he'll get the respect of the team. But I mean, he's raw. I mean, he's not I don't think he's gonna come into the league ripping it up. I think he's gonna come through with his fair share of mistakes, but I think that he's a talented guy. All right, let me stroll up a little bit. It says, let Rattler be the starting quarterback next season. If he doesn't live up to the potential, at least it puts us in a position to draft a quarterback in 2026. I agree. I mean, I've been advocating and lobbying for that like for weeks now. Like I'm over Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr is what he is at this point. Like Derek Carr ain't gonna win nothing for you, and he's just taking up space, man. An opportunity for somebody else to possibly be able to, maybe get you some wins, and you can do it for the cheap. And if they end up panning out, going out there, putting up some good stats, they doing it for the low. I'm talking Spencer Rattler. You can build a team around him. That's kind of what the 49ers did with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, overachieving. And you know what that does? That helps your team. Now you can go out here and get that free agent. Now you can go out here and make that trade for that player because now you have an overachieving quarterback that's on the cheap. I want to say, man, at one time, Brock Purdy would make about $80,000. I mean, so if you can do that, man, and he can perform, guess what? Why not? Gruden has issues, but he's definitely not going to put up with the happy to be here dudes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand how John Gruden and his name can make some people feel. Like, I'm not knocking that at all. I completely understand that. I get it. I do 100%, but he's a hell of a football coach. And, the Saints, they need somebody like that right now based on their situation. He can win with what you have right now. He can put something on. If you want to kind of keep it like a Sean Payton type team with that type of philosophy, like they're different guys, but they kind of cut from the same cloth. Like they're not the same coach, but they cut from the same cloth. Like they love football. They eat, sleep, and breathe the joint. Like both of them do. That's Sean Payton and John Gruden. And right now, that's what the New Orleans Saints need. They need that tyrant. They need that guy. Now, I don't know how long that lasts. I mean, Gruden like in his 60s or whatever like that. So my thing is, some of these coaches that are young, inexperienced, but got talent like Andrew Janocko, like Clint Kubiak, maybe a Gruden can be able to help them reach their full potential. So I mean, I like Clint Kubiak, but I feel like he leaves a lot to be desired. I feel like he still needs that mentor that's around him to help him see the field, to help him be able to make those necessary adjustments. And I think that John Gruden will be that guy. But, I digress. My mixtape coming out, LOL, Young Nola. Says, I'm late to the party, but I'm riding with Rattler with a good coach and none of the guys Mickey know. Yeah, I'm saying, man, do not be surprised. Like, don't be surprised if it's somebody like John Gruden, one of these coaches that you've heard their name before. Why y'all playing add my Apple Music? All right, yeah. What's your album name, man? Plug it. Go ahead, plug your album. When Gruden was in Tampa, were you scared of his offense? No, I wasn't afraid of his offense. Look, but here's the thing: are people scared of Sean Payton's offense? I'm just saying, like it evolves over time. Like if you have a choice here, you can try to stay the same, and time will pass you by, or you can keep that same offensive philosophy, but kind of add some things to it, and that's what Sean Payton has done. You couldn't run your offense like you did with Drew Brees with Bo Nix. It just wasn't happening because Bo Nix is no disrespect to Drew, but he's a little bit more athletic than what Drew was. So you got to add some things that he's actually good at to make him feel comfortable. So I feel like it would be the same way with John Gruden. Like you can't just look at, oh man, that's just what it was. And like I said, the Raiders were pretty doggone good. Like they were making the playoffs and winning games and being competitive and getting close to 10 wins. Like he was turning that joint around. So that's what the Saints need, in my opinion. They need somebody that's going to be able to turn this thing around. Like I said, I'm taking all the outside stuff out of it. If you're asking me what type of coach would be the perfect fit for the same situation, it has to be a proven coach. Like if Belichick didn't go to North Carolina and the Saints hired him, like if you bring Mike Vrabel, I mean he turned around the Tennessee Titans. Like you need somebody that's already has been, a head coach. Like I just feel like it's totally unfair to an inexperienced coach that's getting his first opportunity to come in here and you're in shambles. So you need to get a coach that's going to be able to like evaluate talent. You need a coach that's going to be able to develop talent. You need a coach that's going to be able to have his head in every single room of every skill position and demand excellence and be able to work with, like I said, a very bad salary cap. That's what you need. You may not want to hear that. You may want the Ben Johnson. You may want the Aaron Glenn. You may want the Dan Lanning. You might want these guys that everybody is going after, but that may not be what you need. Your eyes can't be big as your belly, as the OGs say. You can't. You got to understand your circumstance. And I don't feel like these other coaches would be a good fit. Not the fact that I feel like they wouldn't be good coaches. I just feel like it's unfair. And we know that people aren't going to look at the same situation. They're going to look at those guys' win-loss record, and that's totally unfair. Win next week? Let's see. What do we get out of it? Start the backups, embrace the tank, because the solace we have is we control Atlanta's destiny. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They ain't got nothing to say now. I guarantee you, Arthur Blank probably sending gifts to Gail Benson. Like, please just do us a solid. I like Drew Pillar on the cool pause. Let's see. Genty fumbled to Penn State. It happens, man. It happens. You run enough. You have enough carries, you're gonna fumble. I'm totally not feeling Gruden. May not be feeling them, but like I said, it's gonna have to be a Gruden type coach that's gonna appease this fan base. Man, look, bro, I ain't just became a Saints fan last week. Y'all know me, man. I keep it as 100 as I can. I'm not telling you from my perspective, like what I would want. Like if it was me, I would want, Ben Johnson or whatever like that. If I knew it was going to work out and pan out, if the circumstances were different. But I'm looking at these annoying, casual mind Saints fans out here that don't really understand football, only understand wins and losses, and not looking at the entire totality of the thing. Like, man, They said he was supposed to be this. He was supposed to be that. Like, not even looking at what the heck is going on right in front of them. Like, they just fixated on the wins and losses, and they not, basically looking at the why. So I don't want to hear that for the next couple of years, and they need to fire him because they said that he was supposed to be a guru. And like, man, bruh, I'm the biggest heel to the Falcons. I believe it. I believe it, Jerry. I'm sorry, TJ. Mickey Loomis has to go, man. He let's see, let's not forget. Funny way you just put that, Caddy. He said, look beyond the results. Yeah, man. Look, I mean, he wants you to look beyond the results. Because, like I said, if you look at the results, you'll see that he's terrible at his job when he doesn't have Sean Payton and Drew Brees. TJ, we need a coach that can build an offense and have enough knowledge to not have input on the defense. Sean Payton chirping on his defensive coordinator because that wasn't his cup of tea. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that you definitely need to switch it up and become an offensive-minded coach. And the thing about it is why I think, honestly, that Gruden is probably going to be the number one guy is because Gruden has been around his coaching staff off the record for a while, right? Like he has stuck his head in the Saints facility on several occasions, with the defensive staff that Dennis Allen had, with the offensive staff, and everything that I'm hearing from Jeff Duncan, Underhill and everybody else, and I feel like they know something, definitely Underhill, but I don't think they'll be saying this stuff like, man, they really like this coaching staff on the offensive side of football and they want to keep that. Gruden's relationship with them and him being around them, I think that that will give them a better chance of staying there versus somebody like Vrabel, who probably will want like things to be his way, Ben Johnson to be his way. You get what I'm saying? So I think that you kind of got to connect those dots as well. I think you have a strong chance of keeping this offensive staff intact the way that it is. John Gruden just kind of slides into place. Now, defensively, you probably going to blow that joint up. He probably going to end up getting another defensive coordinator and all that kind of stuff. Because Joe Woods, God bless the brother, but he ain't ready, man. You know what I'm saying? He the P. Carmichael defense, if you ask me. He's a guy that can contribute to the defensive conversation, but calling the defensive plays, no, sir. No, sir. But yeah, I think you have a better chance. Keeping his offensive staff the way that it is because he's been around them. Need a disciplinarian and give attention to details. That's a Gruden coach, man. Gruden can mold Rattler. I agree. Like I said, man, you don't want to hear this. But it just like all the stars align. Think about what I just said, right? They want to keep this offensive staff more than likely based on like the reports. And look, I take what these reporters and guys on the ground say. I really do. I don't feel like they'll just come out here and jump out the window and keep on continuously saying these things if they don't have any validity behind it. So they want to keep this offensive staff. Gruden has been in and out of the facility, so he has a relationship and has built one with these guys. Like I said, you're dealing with salary cap issues, dysfunction. Like he's been to the Raiders, the epitome of dysfunction. I guess you got to add the Saints to that right now. They're the epitome of dysfunction as well. But all I'm saying is he has a reputation of that. He's checking all the boxes, folks. He's checking all the boxes. And, he can get you away from Sean Payton without him being Sean Payton. But at the same time, like we know that Loomis is kind of married to the Sean Paytonism, so he's close enough to Sean Payton to make Loomis comfortable. Oh, I know this type of guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not Sean, but he has ways like Sean. So as the Saints like comfortability, right? They like familiarity. There you go. So I'm just saying. Hey, TJ, who do you think is sleeper be Saints head coach? Sleeper? I would say like somebody like from I'd probably say like somebody like Bobby Slowick or something like that from the Houston Texans or um yeah, somebody like that, Vance Joseph, somebody like that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that nobody really just paying that much attention to. I think we already know about Aaron Glenn. I mean, I'm gonna just throw this name out there. I doubt it, but the guy in the college ranks, Dan Lanning, coach of Oregon, that could be, you know what I'm saying, somebody. I mean, he has potential to be, you know what I'm saying, a guy that switched over from college to the pros and maybe find success. So that would be a dark horse for me, which I doubt. TJ, thoughts on Pat Shermer as maybe an offensive coordinator? Just asking your opinion. Well, I mean, I ain't got no problem with Pat Shermer, as a coordinator. But look, I don't feel like you should get away from Clint Kubiak like that. Like, I think Clint Kubiak is a good offensive coordinator. I just feel like sometimes sometimes you need to help him see certain things. Like, I just feel like he's missing that guy to keep him on track. That's the reason why I feel like you need to go offense. Like, you need somebody that's going to be there to be like, hey, I know you're trying to do this, but it don't seem like it's working. So how about you try this? Like, bounce ideas off of. It's almost like Carmichael, right? I feel like he's a better version of Carmichael, but sometimes Carmichael can get off track. And Carmichael has called plays for the New Orleans Saints in games. But Sean, kind of tell him like, oh, let's shy away from this. Let's run the ball more. Let's throw more. Like, you need somebody like that. Like, I feel like there's something that's missing with him. Like, it's like somebody that can really sing, but they still need a vocal coach. Like, you hitting these notes, but you need to know where to go with these notes, when to use these notes, right? In order for you to really, start singing and really, saying, like, knocking people's socks off. That's what he is. Like, he knows what he's doing, but sometimes I feel like he kind of veers off the course and he needs somebody to kind of reel him back in. So I think that, that's why I'm saying, like, Gruden can be that guy. Belichick could have been that guy. You need somebody like that. Gruden calls his own plays, though. He may call his own plays, but at the same time, I mean, you're still going to be incorporated. Like, I would, to me, it would not surprise me whatsoever if Gruden, utilizes Clint Kubiak and, and has him like in like a Carmichael role. And this isn't one of those situations where, Pete Carmichael was behind the scenes and nobody really paid no attention to him because of Sean Payton. Like, people know Clint Kubiak is good at what he does. Like, I don't feel like it's going to prohibit him from, like, getting a head coaching job, getting the opportunity. I feel like being with a guy like Gruden to kind of mentor him and, maybe, help him reach some potential that he didn't even know he had is going to help him in the long run. Because I think that the lack of adjustments in the second half and some of the issues that the Saints have been plagued with is giving people opportunity like, yeah, but not yet. Like, maybe in a couple of years. And I feel like Gruden can be that coach that can help him to get over that hump where he can get that head coaching opportunity. But right now, I feel like, he needs that vocal coach. He needs that mentor that can help him be able to make those adjustments to be able to finish games strong, and not just lean on one particular thing or be so heavy on the Taysom or heavy on the Kamara, right? Like, utilize these weapons. So I think he's going to reach his full potential. Being here in the front office falling apart, Miss Benson not talking to any of them. Well, look, I don't know how true that is, but yeah, it looked like it's pretty much in shambles. I'm going to take a few more of them. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. Let everybody enjoy the last couple of hours of 2024. It says, oh, right, misdemeanor crimes, you right. My mistake, but still Mickey doesn't discover nothing. Is basically fell in his lap. Seems that way. It really does. It really seems that way, man. Gail needs to put a team around her that isn't Mickey Loomis and Dennis Lauscher. Well, I think she is, because if she didn't, Jack, then I feel like probably want to fire Dennis Allen. We know Mickey didn't want to do it. You know, we seen the petty statement that he put out there. I still feel like Dennis Allen is a really great coach. Okay. Really great defensive coach, maybe. You know, you can make an argument with that, but head coach, no, sir. I seen enough. I want that beautiful man, Ben Johnson. I think we all do. I think, you know, everybody wants him. I mean, the way that he's so creative and how fun that offense looks in Detroit, but you know, I just don't want this man to go out here and you know, his first head coach is stopping. It's just absolute disaster because the Saints don't have the necessary resources to help him. I don't want that for that, man. Seahawks fan here to wish Who Dat Nation a happy new year. Sorry if you talked about this, but what would you think if the Saints hired Ben Johnson? Well, look, I would love if the Saints hired Ben Johnson. That would be great for, you know, as far as the offense. But I just question, will he be able to do the things that he needs to do in order for him to get this team where it needs to be because of the Saints' lack of resources, because of the cap issue. Derek Carr, you know, not being everything that you need him to be. You know, like don't really have the weapons and can't afford to go out here to get a free agent that can be able to help you in certain positions. Right. And also just the whole draft process as a whole. You know, the whiffing on the draft picks, the bad draft picks, not being able to utilize guys' strengths, always moving guys around and trying to make them something that they haven't been in their entire football life. I don't want that for Ben Johnson, man. I don't want that for that guy. Because like I said, I mean, we know that people don't like to evaluate these guys fairly. They just look at it from a win and loss perspective. And when you do that, then I feel like you're selling guys short. TJ, what about Green Bay OC? Well, you know, I know his name has been on a lot of people's lists, and he's probably going to get some interviews, but it's just always funny to me, like when you have those coordinators / head coaches, like teams don't necessarily look at you as strongly. Like they just feel like, you know, kind of you on some Otis, you on that Otis tip, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you was on My Girl, but David Ruffin was singing the lead, right? You was on The Way You Do the Things You Do, but Eddie Kendrick was singing the lead, right? Cloud Nine, Dennis Edwards, right? Like you just playing the background. Yeah, you're part of the group, but you're not the main singer, right? You ain't the one that's around this thing like setting the song off. And so I think that maybe teams take a look at that. I think that if this was one of those situations where the team was looking good under his watch, and then all of a sudden Matt LaFleur came there, and then you know they still was looking good. Like I think that people will probably take him a little bit more serious. But when you have those coaches that have that reputation of being that offensive-minded coach, that defensive-minded coach, if you're that coach that's on the defensive or offensive side of the football, and you just kind of have the title, but people are looking at the coach as the one that's the straw that's stirring the drink, it's hard for people to really look at you as the potential head coach of a team. So I think that he has that going for against him, I should say. Got it going against him. Let's see. We tried to tell you. Thank you very much for 2 hours. Say just here to say happy and safe New Year. Yeah, happy and safe New Year to everybody. And you too, Prime. Says ask the bum. Josh says, where do you think DA will go? I'm guessing Packers or Bengals. DA is a great position. Well, isn't a great position. There isn't a team out there he can make tons better as a defensive coordinator. I agree. I mean, I can see any of those places. I can see him going to Cincinnati. I can see him out of spite, if he going to Atlanta, try to spite the Saints, for firing him, because they're not happy with Jimmy Lake over there. I can see him going to Miami, as a defensive coordinator. They've had some defensive struggles. I can see him maybe going to Seattle. Their defense isn't as, the way that it once was. Arizona, I can see him out there, maybe adding to their defense. They got a young young, vibrant defense. I can see him doing that. So there's several places that he can go. He'll find a job. He'll land back on his feet. He's a guy that is really good at defense, and people are going to give him opportunity. Just not going to give him an opportunity as a head coach, because if they do, they high. Let's see. Josh also says, I bet his phone is ringing like crazy. I agree. Probably is. I mean, he'll be able to pick his spot as a defensive coordinator. I want the Falcon fans to be mad. I think they already mad. DA going to the Giants. I can see him going there too. I want the Falcon fans to cry like we did in 2018. Also, the Dallas Cowboys. Be on the lookout for that. Mike McCarthy, if they move on from him, I mean, he could end up in Dallas. He's a Texas guy, right? He's from Texas. I can see him going back there. I want the Falcons fans to cry like we did in 2018. I think they already did that in their Commanders game. Hey, TJ, I like that song you made telling Atlanta they need us. Yeah, Jermaine, look, I appreciate that. Look, I don't know if some people notice or not. That sample of that song actually came from a popular song in the early 90s by Aaron Hall. Aaron Hall, who was a part of the group called Guy. He read the song When You Need Me. The reason, like, I was talking to my mom today, and she was like, it sounds like you like in a background or whatever. Like, it don't sound like it's good quality. Like, if you go back and you listen to like some of those classic 90 New Jack Swing type songs, it always sounds like a guy like singing in a tub, or that you can hear like this echo inside of the boot. So that's the type of feel that I was going for. So if you wonder, like, man, dang, TJ, man, you normally have the good quality on that joint. That's the kind of feel that I was going for. And of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody already knows this, the playoff scenario. The Saints need to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Atlanta Falcons need to beat Carolina in order for the Falcons to win the division and also make the postseason. So of course, that's the reason behind the song. And that's where the sample comes from. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I know some people are like, man, why it sound like that? That's the reason why. For some of you young heads out there that's probably wondering what happened to TJ microphone. Be honest, TJ, you want the Saints to lose this game this week? Man, look, I already told you. I already told you what I wanted. Like, I don't feel bad about this. I don't want to see look. I already told y'all. I don't want to see the Falcons happy at all. Like, I do not like the Falcons at all. Right? I do not. If the Saints at home, I want the Falcons to be at home. If the Saints got to be miserable in 2024, then I want the Falcons to be miserable as well. That's just what it is. Like, I get solace out of the fact that I know that the Falcons are going to be sitting at home and not making a postseason, just like the Saints. That's the way I feel about it. Like, this to me, like, if you can't make the playoffs and your team ain't good, you got to find like little underlining silver linings to this. And to me, that's the silver lining. I do not want to see the Falcons ever succeed, ever. You can call me a hater all you want to. You're probably right. I do not like the Falcons. I do not like. I like some of it, like their fans, like some of them. You know what I'm saying? Like Rockwood. Shouts out my boy Smitty and Berto. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Courtney and Archangel and Red Swarm. All these cats, like, they real Falcon fans. I respect them because they logical, right? They ain't sitting up here like on planet delusion like some of these other Falcon fans, and their love is not conditional. Like, those are the ones that I respect. But I don't want to see these dudes win nothing. I don't. I'm just telling you the truth. Man, you're a hater. Man, you want to see these boys lose, man. You like, dude, yes, I do. Like, people be sitting up there like really going and really respond. Man, you just want to see him look, man, that's sad. You just like, call me sad. I don't want to see you succeed. You saying that, like, I don't care. Like, I want to see you fail. There's nothing more I want to see outside of the Saints being prosperous than the Falcons failing. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. Like, that you can call me petty all you want to. I do not care. Tom Petty. Yeah, I don't care. Call me whatever you want. I don't want to see this dude be successful at anything. I do not. There's not a team in the South. Like, if Carolina makes the postseason, it don't bother me. Tampa, winning the division 4 consecutive, it don't bother me. Like, it does not. I don't despise Bucks fans like I do the Falcon fans. I don't despise Carolina Panther fans like I do Falcon fans. I just don't. I don't. Like, I live in Myrtle Beach, 3 hours away from Charlotte. So I see my fair share of Carolina Panther fans. They don't come up to me and be like, man, I'm saying, like, they don't. Like, they have logical conversation. Like, man, we want to beat y'all. That's it. Like, that's it. Like, I like I said, it don't hurt me at all. Like, people like, man, Tampa, like, they running the division. Well, hate or love it, the underdogs on top. Like, they struggled throughout the 2010s and stuff like that. Now 2020s belong to them. And it's up to these other teams to knock them off. I don't feel like, how can you hate, like, honestly, how can you hate on a guy like Baker Mayfield? Like, man, they basically wrote this dude off. First overall pick. Cleveland messed him up. Panthers tried to mess him up. Had a cup of coffee with the Rams. Found prosperity with the Bucks, and now this man eating and being successful. Even Mike Evans, like, the wars between him and Lattimore, like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, this just kind of comes with the division rivals or divisional foes. But how can you not respect the fact of a guy having 1,000 yards every season of his career? Like, how? That's all I'm saying. Like, when they play the Saints, I want them to lose. But I do not despise the Bucks like I do the Falcons. I just don't. Like, this don't hurt me at all. Like, having t-shirt for the Bucks for 4 years ain't hurting me at all. Like, I don't want to see the Falcons with a hat and t-shirt, okay? I want those hats and t-shirts to go to the incinerator. Don't even send them to another country. I feel like that's offensive in the first place. Like, why are you sending championship t-shirts and all that kind of stuff? Like, no, why? That's an insult, okay? That should never be seen ever, right? By anybody. Because it ain't true. Like, somebody right now is wearing a Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl championship t-shirt somewhere. Like, we know that ain't true. To me, he trash TJ, trash Baker, trash. Well, look, I ain't got no problem with Baker Mayfield. I don't. I ain't got no problem with the dude. Like I said, when he played the Saints, I want him to lose. That's just it. But Atlanta, I don't want no type of prosperity. Like, honestly, I'm just happy that their fans were excited after that Dallas game because they thought that they had it in the bag. So I was happy that they got happy again because I knew that it was just going to make the blow even more hurtful for them. Atlanta doesn't want us in their city for Super Bowl, so they aren't coming to ours. Yeah, I mean, at least we had a chance. We got screwed out of the opportunity. They ain't even gonna have a chance to make it. And let's see. Jared says, "Rise up, go get that WTJ. Do it for Nola." Nah, we good, man. You're good. They sent us the Falcon Super Bowl jersey in Colombia, and we use it for toilet paper. Says Eminem. Man, look, I feel like that's just insulting, man. Like, don't send it to those countries and stuff like that. They probably don't know anything about football and stuff like that, like we do here. They don't value, I won't say they don't value, but they don't look at football the way that we do. It's kind of like soccer, like soccer is like in Europe, like that's the sport. Like, you start talking about football, you might, people might watch it, but they ain't watching it like soccer. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, and I want to wish you and yours a very happy new year. Man, it's been a great journey over the year. We didn't get the results that we wanted in 2024 for our New Orleans Saints, but guess what, man? We continue to build here as a community. We rally around one another. We support one another. And I thank each and every one of you that has supported me throughout 2024. Rather, you've been continuing to support me, and into 2024. You found this channel in 2024. I really do appreciate it. The show is continuing to grow. And despite the fact that the New Orleans Saints ain't win nothing, we still gonna be having shows, man, in the off season. We still gonna be here. We still gonna be breaking down the NFL draft. We still gonna be talking about mock draft. We still gonna be talking about different storylines. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to cover in the off season. Who will be the New Orleans Saints head coach? Will Derek Carr come back as the quarterback? Will Cam Jordan no longer be with the Saints? What will they do with the Mario Davis or the Honey Badgers? So the storylines are endless, and we'll be right here giving them to you. Previous episodes available right here on YouTube. You can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. Also on Blue Sky at TJAY Jones 8. And also check me out on the NFC South Roundtable on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. I really do appreciate everybody. Bleacher Report will be there as well. Once again, Happy New Year to you. Enjoy the last couple of hours of 2024. If you're going out, be safe out there. If you're already out, be safe out there. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Who was there for you when you needed a team to win a game? And who was there for you to try to relieve you of your shame? Don't worry, man. The Saints gonna take care of business, but we're gonna be right there to stay by your side. Get to the postseason. Psych!
When you need me, oh, when you need me, when you need me, I'll be there for you. When you need me, oh, when you need me, yes, when you need me, oh, when you need me, oh, when you need me, when you need me, I'll be there for you. When you need me, oh, when you need me.
Before you go to sleep, don't forget to say a prayer. Say a prayer in love that the Bucks suffered defeat. 'Cause wins were hard to find, and Jaden Daniels was dropping dimes. Only God knows how much we really need you.
Atlanta singing.
We can't make the playoffs without you know.
When you need me,
Let's say we'll be right by your side. Right by your side. Yes, and
when you need me,
let's